Hello, guys. I am Lily, and I will tell you a very interesting story about my stepsister, Melissa. As you can tell, Melissa and I haven't had a good relationship. Her father, Ryan, married my mother when I was 12 and she was 16. You can bet that this woman hated me with her life. I still don't know what her problem was. I mean, she could have been mad about my father marrying my mother, but she wasn't mean to my mother at all. In fact, she always acted like she was happy to have a mother figure in Melissa. All her problems were with me at this point. I guess that she didn't want to share her father with me. But then again, Ryan was not exactly stepping into the role of my father because mine was and is very much present in my life. So I am not really sure what her problem was. I do recall that Melissa always told me that the three of them would be happier without me. She had tried to throw me out of the house multiple times in the past, but the house being both Ryan's and my mother's made it difficult for her to throw me out. Also, Ryan and my mother were well aware of the antics that Melissa was up to around me. Yep. She hated me, guys. She stirred a lot of trouble and downright bullied me until she left for college. Even then, she would be a menace when she was back home. Therapy didn't work, and neither did any sort of punishment. So I can't blame Ryan or my mom for what she did to me. I was always stupidly hopeful about having a relationship with her, so I never really fought her back. I always gave her space and let her do her thing. But my very existence bothered her. Melissa became less of a problem for me when I moved away for college. I actually moved 3 states over and rarely went back home. Ryan and Mom were understandably sad, but Melissa often boasted about how great it was not to have me home often. She got a job near them so she could stay in touch a lot more than me. While I was sad to lose the closeness I had with my mom and Ryan, I was a little relieved that I didn't have to deal with Melissa anymore. My life went on well, and the distance made my intersections with Melissa very rare. I did end up extending an olive branch to her by inviting her over to my wedding, but she never showed up. In fact, she sent me a nasty message calling me a beggar and a loser because I pursued a degree in literature. She even called my husband, Vincent, a lot of names, even when she didn't even know him. That was the last time I got in touch with her. Honestly, I was done with Melissa. But fate had other plans. About 7 months after Vincent and I got married, Ryan and my mother decided to do a family vacation with all of us. The two of them had called me excitedly and told me all about their plans. Ryan also told me that he had booked my and Melissa's flights and even paid for our hotels. He had been missing his whole family and wanted this trip to reconnect. The plan was for me to fly to their house and then join Melissa there to reach our destination together. Ryan and Mom were flying earlier than us because the two of us couldn't get time off. To be honest, I was skeptical of flying with Melissa because of her past. I had said to Ryan, "Do you think that it is a good idea? You know that Melissa hates me." Hate is a strong word that I don't like to use, Lily. I know that my daughter hasn't been the best to you, but maybe she has changed. Forgive me, but I highly doubt that, Ryan. Oh, I can see why you have a hard time believing this, but trust me, I think my daughter has changed a little. Changed for better or for worse. I still haven't forgotten the nasty message she sent before my wedding. I think she feels sorry about that, Lily. You know, when I told her about the plan, she seemed really excited to see you. She also said that she wants to talk to you and make things right before the flight. Hearing this made me a little hopeful again. Yes, I know it was stupid, but Ryan seemed positive about Melissa feeling sorry for what she did. I decided to take one last chance and see what this was about. I knew that flying to my parents' city would be a better idea because there was a direct flight to our destination from there. Ryan had already booked tickets, so I didn't want him to lose money either. So with everything combined, I agreed to the plan. I arrived at my mom and Ryan's place just a day before I was supposed to board the flight with Melissa. I was hesitant to meet with Melissa at the house, but she had the keys, so I had to. When I met her outside the house, she seemed pleasant enough. In fact, she was smiling at me and even gave me a hug. I didn't know what to make of it, but I was happy the day didn't start off with a fight. She let me settle in and even made me food, including dinner. We had some very light conversation, which was mostly about her great accomplishments at work. I barely got to add anything of my own because she kept changing the subject. While I found that odd, I was just glad that she wasn't at my throat the moment she saw me. I was just starting to get comfortable around Melissa when something shocking happened. We had just finished dinner and were preparing to head to our rooms to sleep. That's when I remembered that she hadn't given me my plane ticket. So I called out to her and said, "Hey, can you give me my ticket now? I like keeping my tickets to myself." "Oh yes, you are right. I totally forgot about your ticket. Follow me and I will take it out for you." "Sure, thanks for holding on to it for me." "It's not a big deal, Lily. I was thrilled to be helpful." "Ah, here it is, your plane ticket. Business class too." Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Mom and Ryan did splurge a lot this time. I reached out to take my plane ticket from Melissa's hand. I had expected her to hand over the ticket like she should have. What I didn't expect was her to rip the ticket in two right in front of my eyes. My mouth hung open as I stared at the scene in front of me. Melissa was laughing at my expression while I stood there dumbfounded. She kept laughing as I said, "But why on earth did you do that?" "Why do you think I did that, Lily? Did you really expect me to just hand over the ticket to you?" "Yes, because that's exactly what you were supposed to do. Why did you do this?" "How will I get on the plane now?" "Why would you get on a plane, Lily? Dad said this is a family trip and only his real family is allowed here." "I am his family, Melissa. He literally invited me. What's wrong with you?" "You were never his family and never will be. You made a mistake coming here and thinking that I would let a loser like you come along this amazing trip." I was in shock, but the joke was on me because I should have seen this coming. Melissa would never change. I had believed Ryan's words because he never lied to me. I knew that this wasn't his fault either because Melissa faked being nice to me even since I arrived at the house. She acted insanely just at the final moment. I was so confused that I said, "If you didn't want me to come, why didn't you tell Ryan that? He thinks that you were excited to see me. I could have started a fight with Dad when he told me about you, but that would have complicated things. So I had to convince Dad that I wanted to extend an olive branch. Basically, you tricked him into thinking that he can trust you with my ticket. Bravo, Melissa. You have truly accomplished yourself as a scheming witch." "Well, I don't care what you call me, Lily. Never did and never will. I wanted you off the trip, and that's exactly what is happening. Have fun, sulking and crying over ticket prices, because I know for a fact that you cannot afford last-minute tickets." I stared at Melissa dumbfounded while she kept laughing and went to her room. I too went to my room and then sat down in shock. I really didn't know what to do. We were up late because we both had to work late, so I couldn't even call Ryan and Mom to tell them what happened. Besides, I didn't want them to worry about it. I could have booked last-minute tickets despite what Melissa said because I had money. But another brilliant idea came to my head. I immediately called my husband Vincent and told him what happened. He was as shocked as I was when he heard what happened. Suffice to say, he was pretty mad at Melissa as well. He assured me that he would get me a seat on the plane and I wouldn't even have to pay for it. Well, he happens to be a pilot, so he was able to get me a seat in no time. Melissa had no idea about this tidbit because she never cared enough to know who I married. Like I said, all she did was remind me what a failure I was. Too bad that this time she would be a failure because nothing would go according to her plan. Melissa left the next morning with a cheerful attitude. I didn't even bother coming out because I knew she was going to laugh at me again. I stayed put and only left the house 15 minutes after she did. I also called my husband before boarding the flight because he was on it as well. He had taken up a shift that day just so he could fly with me. I informed him when I got onto the plane, so he knew that I had arrived. I quickly went to the business class section and waited for my dear stepsister to notice. Boy, notice me she did. She took one look at me and looked shocked to her core. She quickly recovered and then made the most horrible face, saying, "Wait, what on earth is this? Why are you here? I have a family vacation to go to, remember? I sure cannot swim my way to the Caribbean, so I have to take a flight. How did you manage to get on this plane? I made sure to destroy your stupid ticket. Too bad I got a new one. I made a last-minute booking and got a seat. Thanks to the airline, I guess. How did a deadbeat like you afford last-minute tickets? I am perfectly capable of getting a ticket, Melissa. You don't have to worry your little brain about it. How dare you, Lily? I know you can't afford to be here. I am sure you faked a ticket or stole it from someone. What is wrong with you, Melissa? That's not even possible. Who knows what dirty tricks a cheap woman like you can be up to? Just you wait, Lily. I will get you kicked off the plane right now. Hello, someone please come over. My stepsister then proceeded to thoroughly embarrass herself as she loudly called for help. I should say she screeched because, God, her yelling is awful. A flight attendant hurried to our seats to see what was going on. My sister then started to loudly call names and tell the flight attendants that I needed to be kicked off the plane. She was actually creating a huge scene, and other people in the aircraft were starting to notice. She was obnoxiously loud and talking like a Karen. Several flight attendants and even the purser walked up to us and looked horrified at what was going on. They already knew that I was the pilot's wife, so they looked at me really apologetically. Everyone tried to calm down my erratic stepsister because she was the only one shouting and causing trouble. I was calmly sitting in my seat because I know that making a scene in an airplane isn't wise. Sadly, my stepsister hadn't realized that. After multiple failed attempts by the flight attendants in calming her down, they were really lost about what to do. I think they were a little hesitant in kicking her out because they realized that Melissa was somehow related to me. So they stood around us and repeatedly tried to get her to calm down and behave. My dear stepsister didn't like that one bit. She was getting even more furious because the flight attendants were not listening to her demands and throwing me off the plane. She was getting progressively loud, and I am pretty sure that the people in economy could hear her as well. You would think that since we are on a plane, she would behave and at least avoid shouting so that she doesn't create trouble. Nope, no such luck. Melissa kept screaming until the pilot, aka my husband, came to see what was going on. He later told me that he could hear her all the way to the cockpit. That was embarrassing, to be honest. My sister had actually quietened down a little when he saw my husband approach us. You can bet she looked impressed because, yeah, my man is smoking hot. My stepsister almost swooned at his sight and immediately stopped screaming like a banshee. My husband, of course, was stoic, as he always is around strangers. We all know by now that Melissa's a stranger to him. Anyway, Vincent comes and says, "What's the matter here? I heard a commotion." "Oh yes, it was me, sir. I have run into some big trouble here, but I am not getting any help." "What kind of help do you need, ma'am?" "Oh, you are so nice. This is exactly what I was looking for. Finally, someone is willing to hear me out. I am so glad you came to my rescue and offered to help. No one needs to learn rocket science to know that my stupid stepsister was shamelessly flirting with Vincent. To be honest, I don't blame her. Women flirt with him a lot even after knowing that he is married and completely monogamous. My stepsister is a pro at flirting and seducing men, so it was natural she would try and hit on Vincent too. That's why I didn't feel jealous or unsettled when she was flirting with him. Her sickeningly sweet tone and hard eyes gave away the fact that she was fascinated. She tried her luck, but my husband clearly got annoyed. He didn't even bother looking impressed by Melissa. Instead, he leveled her with a neutral face and said, "Since my colleagues are already here, I am pretty sure that the staff did try to help you. I am not sure what went wrong with that. All the flight attendants are useless here, sir. They haven't been nice to me, and they are letting a poor woman take this flight without a ticket. I am not sure what you are talking about, ma'am. The people who get on this plane have to go through rigorous security checks at the airport. It is impossible for someone to fly without a ticket." Well, I am sure there has been some mistake. Maybe they overlooked this one. In case you haven't noticed, they literally ask for your ticket at the gate, especially when they are in business class. Clearly, this woman got in when no one was looking. Maybe if you look at her boarding pass, you will see that she is in economy. Still, I highly doubt that she has enough money to pay for that, too. Ma'am, I assure you that everyone is here with a ticket. You are casting trouble over nothing. Please calm down, otherwise, we wouldn't be able to take off on time. Vincent was clearly getting irritated at Melissa's words and looked a little pissed off. I was quietly smiling from my seat because I knew that my husband can get really angry when someone says something rude to me. Melissa had been doing that constantly since she started to talk to him. My loving husband was annoyed a lot and tried to shut her up with a few words. But that made Melissa annoyed at him. She changed her tone just a little and said, "No, you need to remove her from her seat. I am telling you that she is here without a ticket. You need to calm down, ma'am. She has every right to be here. She has a ticket. She can't afford to be in this place. She is nothing but a deadbeat and a beggar." Excuse me, what did you say? "I know this woman here. She is a waste of space and a lowlife. She can't afford to fly business class, that too, at such a short notice." Oh boy, my sister had no idea how much she had messed up. I took one look at my husband to see that he was fuming. The flight attendants gasped pretty loudly and their eyes shot up to the sky. I think none of them had expected Melissa to be so rude to me. One simply doesn't see the pilot's wife getting insulted in the plane that he was flying. They were shocked. I wasn't shocked at all because I had gotten used to my stepsister's stupid insults. They were just mildly amusing to me anyway, but my husband had never seen Melissa, let alone heard the way she trash talks me. He was not as patient as me and immediately said in an angry tone, "What is that supposed to mean? Look, she is my stepsister and I know what kind of a woman she is. She has always been the loser of the family. I know for a fact that she doesn't have a ticket." "Oh, you don't know anything about her. That woman there is my wife." "What? She is your wife?" "Yeah, so you should show some respect to my wife." The look on Melissa's face was absolutely priceless. My husband wasn't very polite when he informed Melissa that I was his wife. While he did not curse at her or anything, he did sound super mad. My stupid stepsister merely stared between me and my husband. She was stunned to hear that the pilot was my husband. She was still in disbelief when she asked, "What? No, this can't be true. Why can't it be true? I just told you that she is my wife." "Okay, that's enough. You were concerned about her being without a ticket, but we have solved that doubt a long time ago. At this point, you are creating trouble for nothing. Yeah, I think it's time you quiet down, Melissa. You have given everyone enough trouble as it is. And I must say that you have embarrassed yourself enough." Apparently, I had said the wrong thing because my words made Melissa fly into a rage. She literally started to attack me because, according to her, I did everything on purpose to sabotage the family trip and forcefully insert myself where I wasn't wanted. She started to scream at me for embarrassing her as if I was the one who made a huge scene. It was chaos because the stupid witch was literally able to get a good grip on my arm, which bruised the next day. I literally shrieked because of the pain, and my husband immediately saw red. He looked like he would punch her. But he knew better than to start a fight, though, especially when the opponent was a woman. So he let the flight attendants pull Melissa back. As they barely restrained her, my husband asked one of them to call security. That's when Melissa got a little scared and said, "Security? Why? Why are you calling security? Because you are getting kicked off the plane for causing disruption and physically attacking a passenger?" "What? No, you can't kick me out. I have a ticket. I have a right to be here. You pretty much lost that right when you attacked my wife, who also happens to be a passenger. Not to mention the fact that you caused a big scene and already made us pretty late. No, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. You have no proof. There are plenty of people around who have been recording this whole thing. So yes, we have proof, contrary to what you think. At this point, I think Melissa was starting to realize that she had messed up badly. What started off as revenge ended up in her having faced some serious consequences. There were people laughing at her and recording her antics. My dear husband had instructed the flight attendants to call security, and that's what they had done. Melissa was starting to panic, so she changed her tune and started to beg. She had tears in her eyes and said, "No, you can't do this. You can't kick me off the flight." That's exactly what is going to happen now, ma'am. You have been warned multiple times not to cause disruptions. You didn't listen to us, so this is what we are going to do. You don't understand. I have to be on this plane. My parents are waiting for me at the destination. I have to take this flight, and you should have behaved. You will have to find another flight to take you because this one won't. Melissa kept crying and begging with everyone not to kick her out. No one was listening to her after the stunt she had pulled. My arm was a little sore from the assault, but that didn't dim the sense of triumph that I had. Melissa tore up my ticket because she didn't want me to join the family trip. Her actions snowballed, and now she was begging people not to make her miss the trip. Oh, how karma came back to her. It was just glorious. The scene just got better when security finally arrived on our spot and told Melissa that she would be escorted off the plane. She was still crying and begging to be let go. She even tried to charm the security, who were not impressed by her puppy eyes and tears. When they saw that she wasn't budging from her seat, they started to get hold of her. That's when she screamed and cried again. She started to beg my husband first, saying, Okay, I won't cause any more trouble. I will be quiet. You won't hear a peep from me. It's too late for that, ma'am. You have already interrupted my flight and none of the passengers are happy. Common, I am basically family to you. You can't kick me out. I am your sister-in-law. Yeah, no, that's not true. I don't know you and never saw your face until now, so we are not anything. I would be embarrassed to be related to you anyway. But I am. Enough of that, Mom. You have caused enough delay as it is. You need to leave with security unless you want to get yourself in bigger trouble. Vincent was ice cold and didn't even give Melissa the time of his day. He looked at her like she was a bug and signaled the security personnel to take her off the plane. My husband can be very scary when he wants to be. Melissa knew better than to push his buttons anymore. So she changed tactics again. This time, she had the audacity to ask me for help. She said, "Are you really going to let this happen to me?" "I don't see why not, Melissa. This is all your own doing. But, I will miss the trip if I can't get on this plane. Considering the fact that you wanted me to miss the flight and not join the trip, I think I am better off not helping you. It's karma, after all. We are sisters, Lily. How can you do this to me? Did you forget something, Melissa? You made it clear that we are nothing. By your own admission, you said that I am not family. So I have no duty to help you. Have a nice ride back to the airport, Melissa." Melissa didn't have anything left for me. She was in deep trouble with security dragging her off her seat. At least she had the decency to save herself from more embarrassment by telling security that she will voluntarily walk off the plane. The people around had a peek into some great drama, but they didn't make a fuss about it later. Vincent, too, got back into the cockpit after making sure that I was all right. I assured him that I was fine and you had a good show to last me a lifetime. That satisfied him enough, and he got back to work with a smile. The flight went on as usual, and I had that stupid grin on my face for the rest of the day. As soon as we landed, I called my mom because I knew Melissa had already gotten to them. I was waiting at the airport to let my husband finish all the formalities before he could join me on the trip. Yes, he was invited. Melissa never bothered with my husband because she didn't know him. Besides, she figured that he wouldn't come on the trip if Anyway, I called my mother, and of course Melissa had called them crying about how I got her kicked off the flight. Mom and Ryan listened to me with patience because they knew how dramatic Melissa could be. I told them the whole story, and I heard Ryan sigh when I stopped. He said, "I see what happened, Lily. I am very sorry for what my daughter did. I thought that she would at least grow a decent bone in her body now that she is an adult. I see that I have failed to raise her right. Oh no, Ryan. You did what you could. You have always been fair. It's all on Melissa because she refuses to learn and respect people. I am thoroughly embarrassed by what she has done. God, she absolutely ruined her own reputation. No wonder she was a crying mess. I am pretty sure that she is sad about not being able to reach you on time. She had been looking forward to this trip. Too bad she messes it up herself. I made the mistake of thinking that we could have at least one normal outing. But what do we do now? I don't think Melissa will be happy to be near me now. Well, you don't have to worry about that. She won't be joining the trip. I was pretty surprised to hear that Melissa wouldn't be joining the trip after all. I knew well enough that though she had missed the last flight, she could have always gotten another ticket. Yes, it would be expensive, but she could get on, or maybe Ryan could pay for one. So when Ryan said that she couldn't come to join us, I was a little surprised. I said, "What? Are you sure about that?" Like I said, she was really looking forward to it. I know that, Lily. She has lost her chance already. She should have behaved better instead of throwing a tantrum and missing her flight. But she can always catch another flight here and make demands to join us. She can't afford a plane ticket. I paid for the last one and she messed that up for nothing. I am paying for her again. Besides, after what she has done today, I don't feel comfortable rewarding her horrible behavior. I will personally tell her that she isn't welcome to join us anymore. To be honest here, I was pretty relieved to hear that Melissa wouldn't be joining the trip. I was okay with going with her first because I try not to hold on to grudges, but Melissa made a huge scene and caused issues like she always did. I would have been seriously uncomfortable around her, and my husband would have been angry the entire time. Yeah, that wouldn't have been an ideal situation. Besides, it would have sucked to see her still enjoy the trip while she tried her best to cancel my attendance. What made me even happier was that Ryan didn't listen to Melissa's lies and verified everything from me. Now that he knew that truth, he made the decision to cancel her invite himself. We had a blast at the family vacation we took. The trip really helped us bond with each other better. I would say that Ryan prefers Vincent over me now. That's not a good feeling because I feel replaced. Anyway, it does warm my heart to know that my stepfather likes my husband. We had grown apart a little because of the distance, but the trip brought us closer together. Suffice to say, Mom is very happy with the consequences. While they don't have any plans to move closer to us, they definitely promised to keep in touch and visit often. I was pretty content with that. Now that I have told you about the sappy stuff, let me tell you about Melissa. I know that an evil part of you is just as excited as the evil part of me to know this part. Well, let me start by saying that Melissa, in fact, didn't join the trip just like Ryan had said. By the time me and my husband had reached the resort, Ryan had already yelled at Melissa for her behavior and told her that she needs to repent for her actions. Apparently, Melissa cried a lot and begged Ryan to send her money for a ticket. She even texted me, begging me to make Ryan listen to her. She got blocked faster than I could say bye. No one talked to Melissa the entire trip, even as she kept sending us sad messages and voicemails. Ryan was so tired of her crap that he told her that he needed some space. So, yeah, Melissa kind of ended up butchering her relationship with her father while trying to keep me away from the equation. Do I feel sorry for her? Absolutely not. I am glad that she reaped what she sowed, and now her own father isn't talking to her.